Well, hello and welcome back. We are continuing looking at our Python certification series of tutorials. This episode, we're going to look at what are called essentially higher order functions. We're going to look at map, filter, reduce, reversed, and sorted. These are good follow-ons to the whole Lambda concept, because it gets into the idea of essentially sort of recursion and some things like that just, I think once you've got a rough feel for lambdas, then these kinds of things make sense, or maybe vice versa. These may help you understand a lambda a little bit better. The first one I'm going to look at is map. So let me just do this. And the way map works is that you give it two parameters. Let's see here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this add one that we used before. We had this add one method, function actually. And all it does is it just returns whatever value you send it, and it adds one to it and then returns it. So what we're doing here is we're going to call add one, and we're going to send it an array. And that's what map does, is it says take this function and then walk through the array and then just call the function with each of those values. So what we're going to see here, and let me go ahead and do that. Let's clear this up. And so the first thing we do, let's flip back over here, is we store the result in this thing called results. Now, dang it. If you look at results itself, you try to print it, it's going to return a map object. So you actually get an object back. You get this, essentially this collection of results. So what we can do is we can just call list, and I can't remember if we've seen this before, but basically all list does, it says take this collection and turn it into a list, and we can print that out, and we can see that when we send 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, it gives us back 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. So we've got an easy way to apply a function across a series of stuff. Now similarly, let's create one that's going to be, let's do is int. Well, let's call it is num. Oh, let's just call it, actually, let's do it this way. Let's call it is blank. And it's going to take x, which is going to be a string, and it's going to return a Boolean, and it's going to say, it's just going to do, let's see, return, let's say, let's do length of that less than 1. So, well, let's do it this way. Let's clean it up a little bit. And then return results, just in case I have an issue with that. And it probably doesn't like that. So let me look at, I probably do this. Is that maybe what it wants? Because it's probably complaining that that's not a Boolean. Oh, sorry. There. So now, if I just do, let's first do this example of, this is going to be filter. And I'm going to create a values 2 here. And we're just going to do this. And we're going to add a couple of empty strings. And we're going to do essentially the same thing. So for this time, we're going to do filter, use values 2, and we're going to call it is blank. And let's call is blank first. So let's just do print is blank. And we're going to look at these. We're going to do this guy, and then we're going to do him again. Let's see, for this one's going to be example of not blank. And then we're going to do an example of is blank. So let's play around with this one a little bit. So let's go take a look at that, and let's see what we come up with. So here, let's see. So the example of filter doesn't do anything. So example of not blank. So we have something here. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what we want. So let's just do equals not. Oops. X. Did I do that right before? Oh. Let's do this. That may give me what I want. Except for, let's try it. Okay, so let's go play with this for a second. There we go. Okay. Let's use the right variable. So not blank gives us a false. If it is blank, it gives us a true. I guess since that's a print, I don't need that. So now what we can see here is this is filtering based on true. So you can see here we did, if it's blank, then it's going to keep it. So we would say, so if we switch it and go to not blank, and then just reverse that. Well, let's just do this. If it is greater than 0, then it must be not blank. And we're going to see that, oops. Where did I do that? Oh, sorry. I have to change the name here. And once I change it, make sure I save it. Let's clear it just because, and go here. And so now, notice I still get I get a filter object instead of a map object, but I can still do a list on this. And now I'm just filtering out everything that is not blank. So that gives me a nice little way to go through a list of some sort and filter it out. No pun intended, based on that name. So now, similarly, now let's do sorted next, and let's just do we'll do sorted based on values. Let's see. So let's go. Oh, okay. I just had something weird going on. There we go. Okay. Wow, my keyboard has got something stuck there. Okay. So example of sorted, and I'm going to do results equals, let's do this here. Wow, I've got some weird stuff going on here. Let's try this again. All right, well, let's do this. Wow, that is some craziness. Let's do this. Okay, so now let's go back to that. Okay, so example of sorted. I just want to do it like I did with the map. So let's do those three. Except for, sorted is not going to take anything but the array. Results. Okay. And so now if we go back here, clear it, and run it, we'll see that, let's do reversed. Well, let's do this. Let's move these around a little bit. So let's do 2, 6, 4, 10, 8. And now we can see that sorted is going to give us that sorted value. And notice here that the results is actually a list. So sorted is going to return to list. If I want to do reversed, I can do I'm just going to do it that way. And reversed, however, gives us a reversed object. And so we have to go look at it and see that in this case, it's not, this is important. There's two things here. Sort is probably the easiest, sorted is the easiest to deal with as far as it returns you a list. Reversed, which you would think does sort, but it's reversed. You can actually do, let's do sorted, but I'm going to reverse it. And I want it to be reverse equals true. So I think that's a capital T. That. So now we'll see, here it is reversed. So I've got sort, and now I've got it sorted and reversed ordered. What reverse does is not related to sorting the values, but just the keys themselves. So we can see our original was here, 2, 4, oh, I'm sorry, where'd it go? Oh, I don't have it. So our original up here was 2, 6, 4, 10, 8. And if we look, it's 2, 6, 4, 10, 8 reversed. So it's reversed the order of the items within it, not the sort order. If you want to reverse a sort order, then you have to do reverse equals true. And that leaves us one left, which is reduce. And I can actually do that sort of similar to what I had before. Where did I go? Here we go, add one. Okay, so now what reduce does is it's going to take, it's going to apply the function. Oh, sorry. Reduce is actually in Func Tools. So let's see if that, I may have to import that. So let's see just a second. So, although you will see it probably on the certification exam. So what I do here is I'm going to give it the values, but what it's going to do, it's going to add the function, but then it's going to keep applying additional stuff to it. So when I do add one, then it's just going to throw in the next one, and it's eventually going to get it down. It's going to take the results, and you typically, well, I'm sorry, I can't do that here. As I'm thinking about it, I actually need, I'm just going to call it, let's call it add val. And this one's going to take an X and a Y because return X plus Y. What it does with reduce, let's see, does that work? Blah, blah, blah. Let's get that there. Return X plus Y. That looks good. And then reduce is going to reduce add. What do I call it? Add one. No, add val. And what it's going to do is it's going to go through and take the first two items because of those parameters. In this case, it'll take, so 2 and 6. So it's going to add those together and give you 8, but then it's going to take that result and then tack on the next one. So it's going to call addVal again with 8. And let me do this. Called with, and I'm just going to do string X, and I'm going to do it this way, and string Y, and we will see that it's going to add those things up, and it's going to keep tacking values on and using the result as the first value, as the first parameter. So if we go back here, let's clear it out because it's going to give us a bunch of stuff. And we'll see here, so at first it comes in with 2 and 6. It adds those together. So it does 2 and 6, adds those to get 4. It does 8 and 4, adds it together to get 12. Then it calls 12 with the 10, calls that together to get 22, calls 22 with 8, and boom, we end up with 30, which is here. And we're going to find in this case, because it returns that final value, which is an integer, we get an error because we can't do a list on an integer. It's not iterable, as they say. You can't go across it. So that gives us a couple of, that's a few very valuable ways to deal with sets of some sort, to deal with arrays in particular values. We can use our filters to reduce stuff out, to filter stuff out. We can use map to just call, use that function against every item within the collection, within the array. We can do reduce to continually call that thing, to continually do that function, and then feed its result back in and start working our way down the list of parameters. We can do reversed. Remember, reversed reverses the items in the array, which is not the same as reversing the sort order. We can use sorted to sort them, and we can do sorted with where we have here and add reverse equals true to send those in reverse value. That's a pretty good set of stuff today. So we'll let it get to it. As always, you can find stuff in the GitHub repository, and stick around next time. We will just continue working our way through these. We're actually getting pretty close. So we're getting close to a point where if you've been following through with this, you're probably going to be in pretty good shape to go take a stab at a certification. That being said, let's get to it. So go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.